Presentation to start the event, a very brief appearance today by our local firefighters representing several fire departments. We want to thank them for their service, especially during the pandemic. And, you know, they're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, out protecting our communities. They're going to be presenting the flags for today behind the stage. So they're going to be doing a special flag presentation. So let's give them a round of applause as they come out and do that prior to the start of our ceremony. Please join us in a round of applause for the men and women of our fire service, the Town of Hempstead's bravest. Thank you for participating in today's ceremony, and thank you again for all of you for being here on this beautiful January morning. Before we begin the induction of elected officials, Supervisor Don Clavin, Town Clerk Kate Murray, and members of the Hempstead Town Board must handle an important order of business.
I want you standing close. You start.
Nice. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 4th, 2022 Hempstead Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman D'Esposito.
I'm here.
Councilman Dunne.
Here.
Senior Councilwoman Goosby. Here. Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Receiver of Taxes Jeanine Driscoll.
May I have a motion to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunne.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Goosby. Councilman Muscarella.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, I now ask everyone to stay standing. Please rise and join us in welcoming another group of heroic individuals, our men and women in blue who protect our neighborhoods each and every day. Nassau County Police Department Color Guard Sergeant, present the colors. And now, the town would like to call upon Councilman Tom Muscarella to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hand over your heart, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Here to perform the Star Spangled Banner is NYPD Officer Briana Fernandez, her hometown of Valley Stream.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Brianna. Nassau County Police Department Sergeant, please retire the colors.
Color guard, pipe band, ride, face. Pipe band. America, reform ranks. God bless America. For the Senate, 1, 2.
Thank you to the Nassau County Police Department Color Guard. We are honored today to have with us Rabbi Mordechai Kamenetzky of Yeshiva South Shore of Hewlett to offer the invocation. Rabbi.
You can sit. It's too cold to speak long, though. Avinu Shabbat our Father in heaven, we the citizens of the great state of New York in general, and in the town of Hempstead in particular, are gathered here to celebrate and bestow our blessings and beseech the Almighty for His. In conjunction of the inauguration and the induction of our dear public servants who have shown themselves loyal, trustworthy, and admirable by the citizens of the town of Hempstead and been re-elected to serve us once again with honor and with dignity. Now, there are no mezuzahs going up in Town Hall, but I feel honored to bestow a Jewish blessing to our dear friends who have been there for our community and all the citizens of a great town of Hempstead with their heart and soul. Supervisor Don Clavin, Town Clerk Kate Murray, Councilman Anthony D'Esposito, Councilman Dennis Dunne Sr., and of course, Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby. You know, when Moses approached the burning bush, God called out to him and said, "Moses, remove thy shoes from your feet, because the land that you stand upon, it is holy land." You know, so today I feel God is coming out and say, remove your shoes from thy feet, for the land or the plaza that you stand on is Goosby Plaza. What an honor it is here to speak on the plaza named for such a remarkable community leader who epitomizes the spirit of unity and diversity. And in that spirit, I thus beseech the Almighty to bless our supervisor and the town council men and women, who we have known to be true leaders of men and women, of course, and who is a good friend. Don, cheerful countenance, compassionate embrace, encompasses all the citizens of the town of Hempstead, wealthy or poor, Jew or Gentile, with no distinction of race, color, or creed. Over the last 4 years of his leadership, he continues to grace us, and we hope for many, many more. And we pray to you thus, Almighty God, that you confer upon our supervisor your divine inspiration, guidance, and wisdom. Grace him with the compassion and balance, guide him to lead in your spirit, and we beseech you in this time of our state's great need to bestow harmony and selflessness and a spirit of goodwill upon all our elected officials, so that they yearn to give of themselves toward the greater good. Grant Supervisor Clavin the grace, and all the councilmen and women, and of course, the town clerk, that grace, charisma they will use to bring the varied voices of our community in all 22 villages, 35 hamlets within the 142 square miles of this great town. Grant them the wisdom and advice to supervise in his capacity as supervisor, and grant the council men and women the capacity to counsel, and let them both accept advice and good cheer from one another and from all the citizens of our great town. Grant them the ability to harmonize as they help the citizens of our community, be they in public sector, private sector, public school or private school, churches, synagogues, or mosques, in the spirit of unity and camaraderie. We beseech you, God Almighty, to allow that gracious spirit and that broad vision and sense of responsibility to all the men and women who govern locally and statewide and nationally. And we pray that that spirit of renewal and harmony under the leadership of our supervisor and our newly elected councilman, county executive, Bruce Blakeman, and all the members of our state senate and our assembly will work harmoniously with one vision to ensure the well-being of our great state. May God bless you, Don, your wife and family, staff, supporters, and all the members of the town board, tax collector Driscoll, clerk Kate Murray, to do your work in good faith and good cheer and good spirit. Let the eyes of the Almighty shine his countenance upon you with great grace and with great love, and let us all say amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Kamenetzky. Please be seated and direct your attention to the large screen for a special video presentation.
Supervisor Don Clavin and his team of caring elected officials welcome you to the town of Hempstead. Settled in 1644, our township played a role in the birth of a nation. We have grown from an agrarian seaside community to a center of business, finance, medicine, education, culture, entertainment, and sports. There's no denying it. Hempstead Town is a great place in which to live and raise a family. Even with its dynamic growth, boasting a population of almost 800,000 neighbors, our government has never lost sight of its mission to maintain our hometown as the epitome of the suburban dream. From stunning beaches and breathtaking nature preserves and waterways, our island home is a celebration of life at the ocean's doorstep. Beautiful parks and other recreational facilities provide endless opportunities for young people and those who are young at heart. Our town just keeps getting better. Hempstead's leaders are growing the economy and fostering needed development while preserving the residential charm of local communities. It's clear that our elected officials care about all the members of Hempstead Town's family. Don Clavin and the Town Board were at the forefront during the COVID pandemic. They provided COVID testing and vaccines, pop-up food pantries, aid to local hospitals, and funding to our schools when we needed their help. At the same time, Hempstead Town maintained all its day-to-day government programs and services for the people who have settled in the nation's best town. We're providing socialization, recreation, and nutrition to mature neighbors at the Senior Summer Beach Program. And the Anchor Program offers children with special needs a place to embrace the joys of life. You can get into the swing of things at our 2 golf courses. Set sail from one of the town's marinas, swim in sparkling pools, skate at the Newbridge Arena, or simply enjoy lovely playgrounds. Why not learn about the revolution at the beloved Rock Hall Museum? Even our furry friends have a place in this hometown. Our municipal workforce is the finest anywhere. They have furnished great services while partnering with the Town Board to cut taxes. The workers of America's largest township deliver sanitation services and pure drinking water. They are working hard, repaving roads, keeping facilities safe, and preserving our coastline. In short, they are putting neighbors first. This is your invitation to celebrate the best of our past and embrace the promise of our future. Welcome to Hempstead Town.
I now ask Receiver of Taxes Jeanine Driscoll to introduce today's distinguished guests.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeanine Driscoll. I'm the Receiver of Taxes for Hempstead Town, and I'd like to recognize some of our distinguished guests. First, of course, Supervisor Don Clavin, Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby, Councilman Anthony D'Esposito, Councilman Dennis Dunne Sr., Councilman Tom Muscarella, Town Clerk Kate Murray, the Honorable Joseph Cairo, former councilman and chairman of the Nassau County Republican Committee, Ambassador Joseph Mondello, former Town of Hempstead presiding supervisor and former U.S. Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, New York State Attorney General Letitia James, Assemblyman Ed Ra, Rabbi Mordechai Kamenetzky of Yeshiva of South Shore, Reverend Michael Duffy, Rector of St. Agnes Church of Rockville Center, Reverend Dr. Calvin Butts III of the Abyssinian Baptist Church of Harlem, Reverend Monsignor John Tutone of Sacred Heart Church of Island Park. Thank you to the Nassau County Police Commissioner, Patrick Ryder, along with the Nassau County Police Pipes and Drums and Color Guard Unit for attending today. Also like to welcome Christopher Macchio and Briana Fernandez. Former U.S. Senator Al D'Amato, Congressman Peter King, New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, Nassau County, pardon, he couldn't make it today. That was Nassau County Bruce Blakeman. Elaine Phillips, Nassau County Controller. John Wighouse, Nassau County Detectives Association. Ricky Frasetti, Superior Officers Association President. Former Councilman Gary Hughes. Former Supervisor Rich Gardino. Former Supervisor Greg Peterson. Freeport Mayor Robert Kennedy. Lynbrook Mayor Alan Beach. Mayor Alex Edelman, Village of Lawrence. Mayor Wyland Hobbs, Village of Hempstead. John Durso, President of the Long Island Federation of Labor. Joseph Saladino, Oyster Bay Supervisor. Supreme Court Judge Thomas Feinman. We welcome you all and thank you for attending today.
Thank you, Receiver Driscoll. Our first inductee of today is Supervisor Donald X. Clavin, Jr. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care." Don Clavin has cared about the town of Hempstead for decades as a lifelong resident and public servant, serving nearly 2 decades as receiver of taxes. After years of caring for its residents all over else, he was rewarded by them in his election as Hempstead Town Supervisor in 2019 and re-elected in 2021. Since being elected as Chief Executive of America's largest township, Clavin has spent every day putting the taxpayers of his town first, and his knowledge and care on the issues that led him to his successful re-election this past November. The Taxpayer First agenda has been evident since day one of Clavin's tenure as supervisor, when he slashed the position's payroll in half by nearly $1 million and went to work on a tax-friendly budget for the following year. Additionally, Clavin has put millions of capital improvement investments into the renovation of the town's roadways and park systems, valuing the daily lives of town residents. Mere months into Clavin's first term as supervisor, the coronavirus pandemic took the world by storm, taking a serious toll on Hempstead Town. Facing the unknown, Clavin worked tirelessly with the CSEA Local 880 workforce in the midst of a national shutdown. Supervisor Clavin and the dedicated men and women of the CSEA staff worked every day to continue to provide the essential services through the entirety of the pandemic. Don Clavin knew how important it was for people to have social, recreational, entertainment, and fitness options, especially during the pandemic. He worked with his colleagues on the town board to create public service events with social distancing and health and safety protocols at the forefront, like drive-in movies and concerts, supporting outdoor dining, and keeping pools, parks, preserves, and beaches in the town of Hempstead open. And when taxpayers needed relief more than ever before, Clavin stepped up to the plate and crafted a tax freeze budget for 2021 and a tax cut budget for 2022. These bipartisan budgets will allow for town residents to continue receiving exceptional government services and programs while also keeping the town financially stable. Supervisor Clavin also secured millions of dollars in federal CARES funds thanks to the advocacy of Senator Chuck Schumer, and he made sure it went directly to the community. Some of the projects included millions in financial aid to frontline entities such as hospitals, schools, food banks, villages, fire departments, community organizations, and more. Promoting a safe and successful opening for businesses, Don initiated the distribution of thousands of free PPE kits to small businesses, houses of worship, and community organizations. Millions of meals have been distributed to people in need thanks to partnerships with organizations like Island Harvest, Long Island Cares, and the Interfaith Nutrition Network. What's more, Clavin and the Hempstead Town Board rolled out the first ever mobile vaccination unit in the state of New York, which has provided nearly 10,000 vaccines and boosters to residents to fight the pandemic. Through his many years as a public servant, the town of Hempstead has gotten to know just how much Don Clavin cares about his community. He's shown that he knows how to make America's largest township a great place to live for his residents, and he's excited to get to work on making it even better. Ladies and gentlemen, Hempstead Town Supervisor Don Clavin. And inducting Supervisor Don Clavin today will be Joseph Cairo, former councilman and current chairman of the Nassau County Republican Committee.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I don't get in trouble today, but as a many years, probably close to 50 years, a parishioner at Our Lady of Lourdes in Malvern, where Monsignor Titone was some 30 years ago, and Father Duffy just a few years ago before he went to St. Agnes, I asked them to please forgive me today, because today I will be following the advice of Rabbi Kamenetzky when he said it's too cold to speak long. So Rabbi, today I'm one of yours. And incidentally, I can't let this go by. If anyone is cold, Tommy Muscarella, that hat over there, he's selling them out of the trunk of his car. So immediately after. And there's another reason for brevity. Let me recognize a man who served. We served together. We sat alongside each other as councilmen. Then he became the presiding supervisor. He went on to be the United States ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. That, of course, is our former, also county chairman, Joseph Mondello, Chairman Mondello. And there's a reason for brevity because, as you know, he served as ambassador for 2 years to Trinidad and Tobago, and he has some unfinished work there. So at 11 o'clock this morning, Robert Zimmerman, Tom DiNapoli, Peter King, and I are going to catch a flight to Trinidad and Tobago to assist him in finishing up that work. Congratulations to all of the people who were elected, to Kate and to Senior Councilwoman Goosby. And I know, Senior Councilwoman, we spoke yesterday, we all share a moment of silence in memory of our dear friend Joe Ra, who passed recently, who served as a councilman and town attorney here for many years. And also to Dennis and to Anthony, congratulations to you all. And Donald, if you'd have your family come up and hold the Bible, and we'll take care of this 1, 2, 3. They want to hear your voice. Yes, they do.
I, Don Clavin, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to perform the duties of the office of supervisor to the best of my abilities. So help me God. Wasn't supposed to touch that. Everybody sit down, relax. We're gonna hammer through this, folks. So I'm gonna tell you right now. If I could tell you how Peter King looks right now, you wouldn't believe me. So. You're not gonna believe it. Like that, it's gone. Listen, today's really about just saying thank you. The remarks about coming up here really said all about all the good things you've done in town. It's really thank you. Thank you to all of you for joining us here during this pandemic. Thank you for understanding doing it outside so we can enjoy each other's company. Thank you to God for giving us such great weather. Thank you to my friends on the town board, because they are friends. We've done great things, folks, and we do it together. As I've always said in government, anybody can fight with anybody. I can fight with anybody here, with the exception of the chairman, the ambassador, Letitia James, and Tom DiNapoli, because I wouldn't get a nomination, you'd get angry with me, somebody could get me really jammed up in the town, and then the state's finances would go in bad shape. I can fight with anybody else here but that group. But you know what, working together, sometimes it takes a little bit, but not with these people. these are great colleagues on the town board, from Kate and Jeanine and all the members, and we work together, and I really think we work for the betterment of all the residents. You heard it in what we've done, from the town's finances, to bond upgrades, to services, to the pandemic. And it's not just them, it's the men and women that I work with in the town, that are in every one of these buildings, every clerk, from Joe and Jeff, to the guys who clean the floors, the guys who pick up the garbage. It's everybody. They do it, and we do it together, because we're one big team in the town of Hempstead. And then all of you. I can look around this audience, and every one of you has helped me in some way during my role as receiver in the last few years. John Durso, Robert Zimmerman, advising, giving ideas with great advice on how to help people and give relief. Tom DiNapoli, forever. I still have a treasured note when my father passed away 15 years ago, the most heartfelt letter I've ever received as a public official. From heads of the chambers to our police departments, our fires, I am grateful because you've all taken the time to give me some advice, to give me an idea. My friends who own a restaurant down in Baldwin, Cole, had a problem. They reached out, they sent an email, and you know what? We were able to solve it, and they gave us ideas of how to help it. Thanks. Help businesses throughout the area. That's what it's all about. That's why it's short for me, Mayor Kennedy. It's all about just saying thank you. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for all of you just helping. Paulie Pachter, Harvest, Gene Kelly at the Inn. We've done great things. We've done it as a team. We've done it as friends. We've done it as people who look out for me. Councilwoman's literally like a mother to me, folks. She has my heart checked every 2 weeks because she thinks I stress about this job too much. And look, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed with all of you. And lastly, my family. I'm very, very blessed. Patty, congratulations, 38 years in the police department. I read that this morning on Facebook. I'm very, very blessed with my family. My sisters, I have 4 of them. They're like mothers to me. My mom, my dad, and then my kids and Nancy. What can you say? This job's a lot. I'm blessed. They understand. They give me the time. They support. They let me pop in and out. Sometimes they drive it all themselves. And I just want to really finish by really expressing to everybody that I do truly drive a truck with 21,000 miles on it, 221,000 miles on it. And Margaret might refer to me as cheap in my TV commercial. It is a world famous TV commercial now. It's how I was raised. Take care of your things, you do right, and it'll go a long way. My family treats me that way. I love all of you. I love all of you for being here. And you know what? That's enough hearing from me. Enjoy and congratulations, my friends. Bless everybody.
Our next inductee is Town Clerk Kate Murray. Our next inductee made history in 2003 by becoming the first woman to serve as supervisor of the Town of Hempstead, a role she held until 2016. In 2020, she was elected Hempstead's town clerk, returning to the position where she first started nearly 20 years ago. Today, after another impressive victory in November, we are proud to once again induct Kate. Kate Murray led the way during the COVID-19 pandemic, developing safe and innovative ways to continue providing services to residents. Kate has generated online accessible parking permits, hosted one-stop passport shop events, and established outdoor service trailers where residents can continue utilizing town programs. Kate also became the first elected official in New York State to conduct weddings through online video conferencing. As restrictions eased across New York State, Kate began officiating in-person weddings, outdoors and socially distanced, providing an essential service that was unable to be provided safely at houses of worship, catering halls, and other local establishments. She also was the first to host curbside marriage licensing program. In October, Kate reached another milestone as she performed her 500th wedding. During her time as supervisor, Kate spearheaded the construction of the Malone Mulhall Recreation Center at Camp Anchor, a $6 million beachside multi-purpose building that serves children and adults with special needs. Other prominent initiatives led by Kate include the Do Not Knock program, child safety and senior ID kits, as well as the creation of the Renewable Energy Park at Point Lookout during her time as supervisor, which features a collection of environmentally friendly programs such as solar panels, a wind turbine, hydrogen fueling station, electric vehicles, and much more. Indeed, Kate has blazed the path in which others can follow and carry on her incredible legacy. Inducting Town Clerk Murray today will be former Town Councilman and the current Nassau County Republican Committee Chairman, Joseph Cairo.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to, if I may, in the true spirit of working together, putting politics aside today, for the past 44 years I've had the opportunity to serve as a high school football official in Nassau County. And many of those years I've officiated Malvern High School games. And always a gentleman on the field, one of the coaches there, always treated the officials respectfully. And though we may differ outside off the football field on certain issues, I want to recognize him today because he volunteered and coached Malvern for so many years. So Fred Brewington, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Murray, she's always been there for the team, was doing very well outside of government. And when we asked her to come back and recapture that town clerk's position 2 years ago, she stepped right up. The only thing I can say about Kate is she is so well known and so popular. There's Madonna, there's Elvis, there's Yogi, and she's simply Kate. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Murray, our town clerk.
I, Kate Murray, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to perform the duties of the office of Town Clerk to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you so much, Chairman. Well, thank you very much, Chairman Cairo, for swearing me in and for being one of the great pillars of my career. And of course, you were sitting next to Ambassador Mondello, and I couldn't help but think they were the two pillars of my career. Ambassador Mondello got me my start in public life, and Chairman Cairo allowed me to come back. So thank you, gentlemen, for being such an outside role in my life. Thank you so much. Well, Don Clavin, I want to congratulate him, congratulate all of my colleagues who won with huge numbers this past November. It truly was a red wave. And I also want to congratulate our great Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby, whose plaza we are sitting on today. And it's a great honor to be amongst you all. I just want to thank also my colleagues on the board whose names were not on the ballot. That, of course, is Tom Muscarella. We have Chris Carini, and of course Jeanine Driscoll, who led us with the dignitaries. They acted and worked as hard as all of us whose names were on the ballot, and for that I am very grateful. Governmentally, I'd like to thank our CSEA Local 880. We have Terry Kahutka, who is a wonderful president of our Local 880. She works so cooperatively with Supervisor Clavin and with the entire board for what's best for our staff and most importantly for our residents. I also want to thank the employees of the town, and Supervisor Clavin really said it so well. Through these 2 years in the pandemic, there's been nothing like this. The only thing I could think of was that was similar in my experience was Superstorm Sandy back in 2012. They're apples and oranges, but the depth of suffering that Superstorm Sandy caused and the pandemic in the last 2 years, they are very unique in our pantheon of our history, for sure. And I have to say, the men and women of the town workforce, they were tremendous. They had concerns about their own health, about the health of their families, and yet they showed up each and every day. I want to take a very short moment to thank the town clerk staff in particular. As we said, we're on the Dorothy L. Goosby Plaza here, and we have borrowed it, Dorothy, as you well know, for the past 2 years to extend the town clerk's office out here, so that from day one, we never stopped providing the services to our residents. And that at its core, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're all about here in local government. It is delivering the services to our residents who need it, to deserve it, and deserve it. And so I want to thank each and every one of the staff out here. I want to thank all of our Reverend clergy, of my fellow elected officials who have joined us to celebrate the beginning of what I know will be another successful 2-year term for all of us. I want to congratulate Supervisor Clavin. When he started, who would know that 3 months in, we would have this pandemic shut down the world, and Supervisor Clavin so brilliantly pivoted and really took it all in his stride, and with the cooperation of the town board in a very unanimous way. We really did, I think, what was right for the residents of the town of Hempstead, but I have to thank in particular Supervisor Clavin for leading the way and being such a great leadership in tough times. That's really when you see the stuff of leaders. It's when it's the tough times, and Supervisor Clavin really showed he is a very, very fine leader. I'm delighted to be working alongside you. Congratulations to all of my colleagues. Thank you so much for all of your support, and God bless the town of Hempstead, and God bless America. Thank you.
The town now invites the Reverend Dr. Calvin Butts III of the Abyssinian Baptist Church of Harlem to provide a reflection.
Dearly beloved, I was invited here by Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby, and she asked me to give reflections. And I really don't know what to say, except first to give thanks to all the leaders here in Nassau County. I see Joe Mandela and I see Peter King. I could not have become the president of Old Westbury until I first met Joe Mandela. That was one of the most frightening experiences of my life. But I got a smile from him in the past. Peter King, as you all know, has been a staunch champion for this great nation of ours. And I congratulate and salute him for the service that he's given our nation across many years. I also want to thank some of the other officials here. I see our State Attorney General. I have to stand tall and be careful. I hope I can get out of here without her grabbing me. But she's done an outstanding job. And the one man who is the most popular elected official in all of New York State, Tom DiNapoli, without question. And I'm happy to call him my friend. And so, dearly beloved, I'm happy to see you. And I'm happy to be here at the induction of all of these fine people. Supervisor, God bless you, and your entire family. Kate Murray, thank you for your leadership. And I want to say for Dorothy Goosby, a young woman who has come a long way. And she has saluted along the way all of those who have supported her, those who are continuing to be with her, and those who lean over the balcony of glory to support her now. I want you to know that this has been an arduous journey. I think the words of the song that say, "Stony the road we trod," fit beautifully here. And I also want you to know that as we stand in this plaza named for her, this is no insignificant matter. This name will ring not only here in Nassau County, but throughout all of the state of New York and across this nation, so that people will know not Dorothy Goosby, but Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby. And that is to be saluted. And now, so that I won't take up any more time, I'll follow the Rabbi's advice. Baptist preachers usually don't, but I will now. I think for our nation, the great nation of the United States of America, let me say this with reflections on Dorothy Goosby. I think his name was James Russell Lowell. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Once to every man and nation comes the moment to decide in the strife of truth with falsehood for the good or evil side. Dorothy Goosby, you lay before us the choice of blight or bloom, and that choice goes by forever. I want to say to you that it may seem that evil will prosper, but I want to remind you that truth is always strong. And though truth seems forever to be on the scaffold and wrong forever on the throne, yet that scaffold weighs the future. And behind the dim unknown stands God within the shadows, keeping watch above God's own. God is watching over you, Dorothy. Hold up the light. Continue to hold our feet to the fire. And I want to remind us that we are all one in this great nation. There is no nation on earth greater than the United States of America. And if we would but work together, we can conquer any enemy. I heard Kate mention a moment ago those challenges that we faced. 9/11, who can ever forget that? Superstorm Sandy, I was right here with you. And now COVID-19, which, will be like the flu in a few days. We'll get through it all. And we'll get through it triumphantly, and hopefully once again we'll be able to greet each other, and smile on the Senior Councilwoman Dorothy L. Goosby Plaza. And thank God for our lives, thank God for our families, and thank God for the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Butts. And we now introduce our next inductee, Senior Councilwoman Dorothy L. Goosby. A legendary figure in the town of Hempstead, Senior Councilwoman Dorothy L. Goosby needs no introduction. After all, this entire ceremony is being held in the Senior Councilwoman Dorothy L. Goosby Plaza. Serving as the first ever African-American woman on the Hempstead Town Board, Senior Councilwoman Goosby is now entering her 22nd year of representing the residents of the 1st District. She was first elected to the board after spearheading a historical lawsuit against the at-large voting system, resulting in a more representative democratic process for the town of Hempstead. With the establishment of the councilmanic districts, Goosby has always worked tirelessly to ensure the best quality of life for everyone she represents. Earning her master's in business administration and labor relations from Adelphi University, Goosby is also an alumnus of Hofstra University, where she was certified to teach chemistry by the New York State Department of Education. Although she'd be an excellent science teacher, the town of Hempstead is fortunate for the chemistry she has with the town board and the residents of America's largest township. During her past term, Senior Councilwoman Goosby has ramped up her ongoing community efforts. Helping to navigate America's largest township through the COVID-19 pandemic, Senior Councilwoman Goosby assisted in supplying free PPE kits for businesses and churches, as well as securing personal air filters for residents at risk. She was an instrumental part in launching the outdoor dining initiative that helped residents stay open during the pandemic, and sponsored food pantries that donated well over 1 million meals to residents in need. Looking toward the next exciting 4 years of service to her community, we proudly introduce Dorothy L. Goosby as she's inducted once again as Senior Councilwoman. And inducting Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Goosby today will be New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Protocol having been established, please have a seat. And in the words of my faith after Dr. Butts, we all say amen. So to the rabbi, I too will be following his mandate. I will be brief, I will be good, and I will be gone. And so I thank him for that. It is an honor and a privilege to be here this morning to administer an oath to an icon, to a maverick, to a disruptor, someone who has changed the course of history, not only here in Hempstead, but all throughout this nation. She has been someone who has broken glass ceilings, and someone who has made it possible for me to stand in this position as the Attorney General of the great state of New York. So I am humbled, and I truly am privileged. But this really is an auspicious occasion, an occasion that we should not take lightly. When one takes the oath of office, one basically makes a public commitment to the general public before God and before their family, that they will faithfully discharge their duties and that they will be public servants. So no matter what titles come after your name, no matter how many degrees that you have, for me, the greatest honor that one can have after their name is that of public servant. And so may everyone go forward from this day, united as one, and continuing to serve the general public. And now, Ms. Goosby, if you would join me and your family as we take the oath.
I,
State your name.
Dorothy L. Goosby,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that I
swear
will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of
and
America
the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the great state of New York,
of the great state of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
my duties as
my duties as
senior council member
senior council
to the
member
best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And welcome to my plaza. There's no charge. You can come here anytime you want. I'm going into my 22nd year as I was elected seeking representation from my community via a historical lawsuit. And I think all of you know who that person was who was so instrumental in getting it done. And would you please stand, Esquire, the Esquire of the Gnome. And that is the same one who was working with you as far as Melbourne was concerned. That is, you see, I'm trying to keep this water back. Fred K. Burlington. Fred K. Burlington, Esquire. He's a fantastic human being. And actually, he kept me straight, because you know, sometimes some of you know when I get angry, I get angry. And he had to stop me. So it's one of those things that we're so close together, we know each other and we love each other. So God bless you. And one thing was sure, I've been sworn in on this plaza. I was sworn in as my plaza. So that's progress. I know, I didn't know what it was before, but I know now. I know what it is, that this organization, my colleagues who are of a different party, it didn't matter to them that I'm with them and they are. They felt that it was necessary and it was something that they needed to do in order to create history. And I really appreciate the fact that they feel that manner. I thank all of you for what you've done. Thank you. I love you guys too. And he's saying that it's really real. You know, it's not true. I know that Don is pretty good sometimes, you know. when I need to tell him off, I do. And he normally listens, so, because I have people out here that will help me. I have his 2 daughters and his son and his wife, so I don't have to worry about that. And this young man over here always looks out for me. He makes sure he finds my seat. I didn't know where my seat was yesterday, but he found my seat and told me where to sit. And Tom, this one over there, that guy, he is something. He tries to make us all fat. He brings chocolate to us every time at the meeting. So he needs to stop it. And Kate is pretty good. Sometimes we both want to make sure that we marry somebody, you know. So I've done that before. Jeanine is wonderful. She's in the tax receiver's office, and she doesn't mess with our money too much. You know, she's trying to make sure it's good. And Dennis, oh my goodness. Dennis calls me up. He'll tell me what's going on. If I'm at some place at another meeting, he asks me to come where he is so that he can make sure that he brings food to the people in the church over here, St. George Church. He said, oh, they bring food. So I've worked with wonderful people, and I respect them, and they respect me. We've made a lot of progress in this town, and I'm so proud of it. I am so proud of the fact that we were able to also make it easy for people who cannot come out of their homes to be able to go into the homes and give them the vaccines that we need. I don't know if anyone else is doing that, but we do. And that came out of my whole group, just making sure that we got it done. People are most important to us. In my district alone, it has really, really done well. I know the ones of you who know what it looked like before I came probably can't remember, but I remember it. And I tell you, this year, we got new basketball hoops, you know, yours, and we're getting the floor done. We have a new, almost brand new pool in Roosevelt Park. We have that, which they didn't have. We've been working on it, and there's more money to come that isn't the budget for me. So when we finish, it's going to look like every other pool, every other park in the whole town of Hempstead. We're working on that. It's just a little time, and we're trying to control the money. I'm not good at my speech. That's the whole problem. See, I went off of it. And I have to tell you, this young man here, Tom DiNapoli, has always been by my side from the time I started. You know, because he said to me, I want you to run for this. I said, absolutely not. He says, but you should. And he talked to my husband. My husband was there, Jay Goosby, who I really miss. He was a fantastic human being. They got together, and they decided that I should run. And I could never forget Cherry Weinstein. Cherry Weinstein sat in her house, and the only money we had was about $6,000 to have our contest. And she made all the materials that I used for my campaign. Homemade, while I had to take care of her granddaughter while she was on the computer. And of course, County Bus is extremely special to me, as you know. And thank you so much for coming, because this man travels all over the world, and he did take the time for me. And Fred, you brought this fight in. You brought the fight to me. And to me, this day, I am thankful to you and all the residents throughout this whole town, and not only this town, but other towns as well, are grateful to you, because we came together in a way that we might have been together. And I won't forget you, sir. When I first came on this board, the first thing you said to me, you know, you're here, and you're one of us now. So anything you need, or anything that you want, you just let me know. And that was fantastic. And Carol, he's special because he was a great friend of Joe Ross. And I guess that's one reason I'm a little teary today too, because he's not here with us, but I have his son. He was a fantastic human being, and anybody who thinks he wasn't, he was a great person. He was always here. He made sure that I did what I was doing correctly, because he knew this town like no one else has ever known it. So, my 2 daughters, Elsie and Cassandra, thank you for your tireless love and support. They really have to put up with me. See, they think they're the mom now. You know, I'm the child. Don't wait. You give them a couple of days and you'll have the same thing. And you, sir, I won't forget you. Peter King, fantastic. And all of my rabbis and all of my friends, I see you sitting over there, young man. And just thank you so much. I'm not calling all the names because I got to get out from here. I told them I'm doing 2 minutes, but I know I've been over 2 minutes. And sadly, we have gained too many angels in the past couple of years. And while I'm reminded they are each watching over us today, still my greatest angel is my late husband, Jay Goosby. And anybody who knew Jay knew he was much quieter than I am. I'm the one who, went out. But he was there by my side, and he always loved people and children. Because I came home from work. The man had my house full of kids, feeding them hot dogs or whatever. Instead of doing what he was supposed to do, that's what he was doing. Supervisor Clavin and the entire town board, I want to say again, 2 years ago, we pledged with the whole board, we pledged that we were going to do what we could do with the best interest of all the people in the town of Hempstead. And I thank for what you saw here and what was said about you. Everybody knows that. They know that we care. And I tell you, we couldn't have done it without our commissioners. I'm not calling all your names, but all the commissioners and all of your staff and everyone who works here, including my staff. We thank you. We thank you because we could not get this done without you. Thank you so much for all. And we really believe that, and the union has been fantastic with us. So thank you for that. So that's all of, I think that's about it. Now let's see what else I have. And to the greatest people in the town of Hempstead, thank you for your continued confidence in my leadership and your continued commitment in making this not only the largest town in the United States, but the greatest town also. I look forward to continuing to be your senior councilwoman and working for you. Thank you so much, and God bless us all. And enjoy my plaza.
I'll be in the back.
Thank you, Senior Councilwoman, and congratulations. I now call upon Reverend Monsignor John Tutone of Sacred Heart Church of Island Park to provide a mid-ceremonial blessing of the town board.
Please be seated. We've had prayers. We had a great homily by Pastor Butts. I enjoyed that. I don't get to hear homilies that often, and I enjoyed that. And he may see me at his congregation. I'll get new material from him. It was very good. Thank you. I wanted to do something also religious and different. Why don't we take up a collection? That's religious. No collection, no. Let me just, I want to zero in on something that Donald said. He used a phrase that we hear all the time for those who are our leaders. He used the phrase, do the right thing. And that's a guide for everyone's life. Do the right thing. But how do I know what the right thing is? The Greek philosophers taught us the beginning of human wisdom. They taught us that the right thing does not exist inside of me. It exists in itself, outside of me, and beyond me. And the Greek philosophers dedicated themselves and taught wonderful ways of seeking that right thing as it exists in itself. And the Greek philosophers came up short, and St. Paul reminded them that they came up short because he said, in all your wisdom and searching, you didn't find the wisdom of God. God reaches down from heaven, and God speaks to us in his words in Scripture. God shows us what the right thing is. It's outside of ourselves. It's shown to us by God. And we always have to be careful. It doesn't necessarily rest with what most people think or what most people do, because history is filled with too many examples of people who, as a group, said, this is the right thing, this is what we all want to do. And it was horrible what was done. No, wisdom and the right thing comes from God. So we're in the middle. We take a break right now. And perhaps there's something for our leaders, newly installed today. Perhaps there's something for the parents of every family. Perhaps there's something for each of us who have people we love. We have to do the right thing. And every once in a while, we have to, in silence, go to God and tell him, God, show me what the right thing is. Because it's not inside of me, it's inside of you. And I'm only going to find out if I give you a chance to speak. That is our prayer this morning for our leaders, for all of us. Not a collection, something else.
Thank you, Monsignor Tutone. And our next inductee is Councilman Anthony D'Esposito, who represents the 4th Councilmanic District. Hard work, honesty, and respect of public trust have led to 3 overwhelming victories since his appointment to the Hempstead Town Board in February of 2016. Councilman D'Esposito's last re-election in November of 2021 has earned him another 4-year term, allowing him to continue his tremendous public service to the residents of America's largest township. Councilman D'Esposito has dedicated his life to serving the community as a former Island Park fire chief and detective in the New York City Police Department. As detective, he made more than 600 arrests in connection with murders, shootings, assaults, bribery, and possession of firearms. Now retired from the NYPD, Councilman D'Esposito brings his wealth of experience in public safety to help protect Hempstead Town residents. This includes teaching his life-saving Narcan training program to town employees, community groups, and residents throughout Hempstead Town to learn how to save lives from the devastating effects of a drug overdose. Through Councilman D'Esposito's experience and commitment, the Town Board has expanded the Narcan training program as the CDC unfortunately reported 100,000 Americans dying of overdoses during the national pandemic. To date, D'Esposito and the Town Board have distributed 10,000 Narcan kits. Thank you to Councilman D'Esposito for that program. Councilman D'Esposito is at the forefront of leading the town's pandemic response as the head of the Hempstead Town's COVID-19 task force. When the town of Hempstead secured millions of dollars in federal CARES funds, he joined with his colleagues on the town board to utilize the funds to provide direct assistance to residents, including the distribution of thousands of free PPE kits to small business owners to protect customers and staff. And he also allocated CARES funds to address food insecurity through the establishment of pop-up food banks. Additionally, D'Esposito and the Town Board spearheaded the efforts to partner with medical providers such as Northwell Health and Mount Sinai South Nassau to help provide no-cost COVID-19 testing to tens of thousands of residents, and also implemented a free COVID-19 testing program for first responders and essential workers to assist the frontline men and women during the heights of the pandemic. Most impressive was the establishment of New York State's first mobile vaccination unit in collaboration with Mount Sinai South Nassau, resulting in an administering of over 7,000 COVID-19 vaccines and now getting closer to 10,000. Finally, Councilman D'Esposito expanded the town's efforts by establishing a homebound vaccination program administered by the town's in-house EMS squad, along with the town board. The town of Hempstead is fortunate to have such a dedicated and caring leader on the town board, and inducting Councilman Anthony D'Esposito today will be New York State Assemblyman Ed Ra.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just want to join everyone in congratulating Don and Kate, Dennis, Senior Councilwoman Goosby, whose friendship, love, admiration, and respect that she had with my father over the many years they served here together. Thank you for your kind words, Councilwoman. So I'm honored that my friend Councilman D'Esposito asked me to come and do this today. And I was thinking this morning, the last time I was an active participant in a swearing-in at the town of Hempstead was in January of 1996. When my father was sworn in for the one full term he served as councilman, and like so many of us, had that opportunity through the faith that Ambassador Mandela put in him and Chairman Cairo for all those years. And that I get the opportunity to do this for such a great public servant like my friend Anthony. It was mentioned, Narcan. He doesn't just do that in the district he represents. He comes to his other colleagues' districts and does that to help save lives. A retired police officer, a volunteer fireman, truly the definition of a public servant, and I know no one in elected office that works harder. And I do have to laugh a little bit, though, that back in the late 90s when the two of us were classmates at Chaminade High School, I don't know that anybody would have pegged that I'd be up here one day swearing him in for his next term as town council member. So, Anthony, your family can come forward.
I, Anthony D. Esposito, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and the Code of the Town of Hempstead, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of councilman to the best of my ability, so help me God. Got it, thank you. This is yours. Right here. Well, first and foremost, I want to say a thank you to Assemblyman Ed Ra for bestowing the oath of office this morning. I think we'd both agree that your dad is looking down with his usual smirk and pretty happy about what he sees today. So let me start by saying a thank you. First, I want to thank my best friend and the person that I'm thankful and blessed to navigate life with, Cindy. I want to thank my parents who have instilled in me the need to serve the community and give to others. I want to thank my brother and sister-in-law, and of course the highlight of most of my campaign photos, my goddaughter, Sailor. This year, a team went on the field with strong character. We stood by what we believed in, good, honest work for those we represent. We stood with law enforcement. We embraced law and order and the promises of making Nassau County and the town of Hempstead a better place to live, work, and play. This team went on the field and ran up the score because we had a master strategist, a proud coach, and someone who believed in all of us. So a sincere thank you to Joe Cairo, not for just being our chairman, but for always answering the phone, for truly caring about me, and most importantly, being a friend that I know I can count on. Chairman, thank you. To my friends and family that are here, you guys all hold a special place in my heart, and I am honored and blessed to share this day with you. To those here that wear the uniform, in any facet, my law enforcement family, my fire department family, all first responders and frontline workers, I am proud of the work that we do to make this town safer. And remember that no matter my journey, no matter my path, I will never, ever forget where I came from, and I always have your back. To my staff, CSCA Local 880 co-workers, and union leaders, thank you for all you do. Our nation's 26th president and former NYPD Commissioner, Teddy Roosevelt, said far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. The work I've done alongside colleagues has been hard work, worth doing. The last 4 years, we've delivered budgets to save taxpayers money, holding the line or lowering taxes. We've been lauded by Wall Street, earning outlook upticks and credit upgrades. all work worth doing. We expanded programs, invested in our parks, beaches, marinas, and important infrastructure. We've continued to make Camp Anchor a priority, making the happiest place on earth just a tad happier. Just this year, we've invested $75 million in our roads. Thanks to the great work of our senior enrichment team, we've enhanced programs for seniors and done it while keeping them healthy and safe. While other municipalities were unable to collect garbage and recycling in the height of the pandemic, our sanitation crews stepped up and kept the town moving. All work worth doing. We made promises to our future, a goal to go green by 2040, a partnership with National Grid for one of the first and largest clean hydrogen projects in the nation, completed a massive dredging project in Sea Dog Creek, all done in-house by CSEA workforce. We've expanded the work of our labs and increased production in our hatchery in order to make Town of Hempstead waters the cleanest, easily navigable, and healthiest we've seen. All work worth doing. I've worked with colleagues to establish our opioid overdose and Narcan training, visiting communities throughout the town, providing resources to give people a second chance at life. And with the help of everyone on this stage, we've distributed over 10,000 opioid overdose kits and saved lives while doing it. Work worth doing. I was proud to co-sponsor the nation's first anti-BDS legislation, vowing not to do business with companies that boycott our great ally, Israel. We adopted the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism to help fund education and provide key resources. All work worth doing. In the face of a worldwide pandemic, America's largest town led the way, and I am proud to continue to serve as the chairman of our COVID-19 task force. We have worked hard to keep our coworkers and neighbors safe and healthy. One of the only towns in the nation to have a medical director, we work daily with Dr. Dave Newbert and our EMS team to field phone calls, coordinate with federal and state county agencies, provide live question and answer to residents, provide homebound vaccines, and much more. We've also, with the help of everyone up here, helped the fire service and local ambulance corps to provide top-notch medical care. We've partnered with Northwell Health, Mount Sinai South Nassau, and others to test thousands of neighbors. The Vaxmobile has become a household name. And why? Because we worked with Mount Sinai South Nassau using federal CARES funding to purchase and staff a mobile vaccination unit that has traveled our 1,200 miles of roadway, putting shots in the arms of over 10,000 residents. Again, work worth doing. When COVID-19 wreaked havoc on our town, my colleagues and I adapted and overcame. Our great town clerk, Kate Murray, led the charge across New York State, moving her offices and essential services to this very courtyard. Supervisor Clavin and I worked with business and labor leaders to reimagine our building department, placing all services online, creating an online portal, streamlining the process to keep people working. We were the first on Long Island to introduce an outdoor dining permit program, and we helped keep restaurants and bars open here in the town of Hempstead while hundreds closed elsewhere. Clearly, work worth doing. You see, the last couple years has truly been work worth doing. This is a team here in the town of Hempstead, a family, and we work hard to deliver the best results for you, and we do it by taking all walks of life and bringing them here each day, our own melting pot of sorts. Whether you're Dennis Dunne from Levittown, a Vietnam hero who proudly served this nation as a U.S. Marine and has done so much for veterans and active military, or Clerk Kate Murray, who I lean on daily, such a source of knowledge and advice, an accomplished attorney from a great family who served her community of Levittown and beyond, and all of us in so many ways. Whether it was her time at Nassau Community College in the New York State Assembly, as our supervisor, as clerk, and so much more. Or Senior Councilwoman Goosby, who has come a long way from Apalachicola, Florida, and in the process broken glass ceilings and been a civil rights icon, not only here, but across the United States of America. Or Don Clavin, who comes from a family of hard work, love of community and service. Mom, the first female trustee in the village of Valley Stream. Dad, a proud county court judge. And sisters who love to give back to their community. You see, we've all walked different paths, but all of them lead to 1 Washington Street. And while we are here, we promise to work together, govern together, and bring Hempstead into the future, making sure the beacon that is America's largest town shines bright. God bless all of you. Let's get back to work.
Congratulations, Councilman Anthony D'Esposito, and thank you. And our next inductee is Councilman Dennis Dunne Sr. Representing the 6th Councilmanic District, Dennis Dunne Sr. was re-elected to his position in November 2021, continuing his dynamic career in public service. Councilman Dennis Dunne was previously appointed to the Hempstead Town Board in June 2017 after serving 22 years as Nassau County legislator, starting in 1996 when the legislature was first formed. In addition to his call of duty serving our residents in local government, Councilman Dunne is a proud veteran of the United States Marine Corps who fought for our country during the Vietnam War. Here at home, he has been at the forefront of advocating for our veterans and remains a dedicated leader among local American Legion and VFW organizations. He was instrumental in crafting legislation to create a permanent property tax exemption for Cold War era veterans, providing a significant tax reduction for eligible recipients. Councilman Dunne has also been at the forefront for keeping our children safe. Accordingly, he has sponsored several pieces of legislation aimed toward restricting vaping and vape products. Specifically, Dunne proposed legislation requiring signage at businesses that sell vape products in an effort to alert consumers that these products contain dangerous chemicals that are hazardous to their health. In addition, Dunne proposed legislation in the town of Hempstead prohibiting the sale of flavored e-liquid nicotine products used in e-cigarettes, which help attract young people to the dangerous habit. As a former wrestler, lacrosse, and football player, Councilman Dunne understands the importance of keeping our youth healthy, active, and involved in school activities. He was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2017 and the Levittown Alumni Hall of Fame for 2017 and 2018. He enjoys attending local high school sporting games and matches, enthusiastically cheering for all players in his district. He works closely with civic organizations in his district, including the Yes Community Counseling Center, East Meadow Council of Coalition, to encourage mental health awareness. Councilman Dunne serves as president of the Levittown Island Trees Veterans Council and was the president of the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. He's a member of the American Legion, the VFW, Disabled American Veterans, Ancient Order of Hibernians, and so many more organizations. Inducting Councilman Dennis Dunne Sr. today will be former Town of Hempstead Supervisor and former U.S. Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Joseph Mondello.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I am handling the installation that you've all been waiting for. It's the last one. Seriously, I'm so delighted to be here to have been asked by Dennis, who's a terrific guy, representing Levittown community. He does a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, of the positions I've held, the one I enjoyed the most was being a councilman in the town of Hempstead. I mean that sincerely. It was the most fun job, the one closest to the people, and the one that I got the most good feeling from. I see my friend Congressman Pete King is smiling and laughing because I think he feels the same way. It just was a wonderful way to deal with people. You know, Dennis, I think, has the three qualities that I think are necessary to be a good council person. You have to be dedicated, you have to be conscientious, and you've got to be compassionate. Dennis has all three of those qualities, and that's what makes him such a great council person. I was going to speak for the next 45 minutes, but I think since I'm frozen, and I'm sure you are too, I will just go on now with the installation. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
Yes. Absolutely. I, Dennis Dunne, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, resolution and the rules of the Town of Hempstead. I will faithfully perform the duties of Councilman of the Town of Hempstead. That I will further give all my money to Joe Mondell. You can back that up and white that out, will you? To the best of my ability, so help me God. Okay, I just got the warning, 2 minutes. So once I'm finished with Dunne, that gives a new meaning to getting it done with Dennis. So, you know, it's God has blessed me and given me so much love in my life and so much good in my life. They say it built my character. I've heard I was a character from a lot of people, but I don't know what they mean about building character. But I tell you what, I'm so lucky that that Joe Mondello had given me my first real big opportunity. I was counseling veterans for 11 years, and he came to me and asked me if I'd be the director of the Nassau County Veteran Service Agency. And I said, oh, absolutely, I'd love to do it because we do it right. And so that was a big, big job for me. That was a job I wanted in my life. I wanted to be the director. And Joe Mondello made that happen. Then he asked me, 11 years later, that's 22 years with veterans, he said, you know, a lot of people know you, a lot of people like you. I'd like you to run for the first county legislature. And I said, wow, I'd love that. I took poli-sci and Hofstra. Yes, absolutely. So I did 22 years there. That's the best jobs I ever had. Then he called me in his office and said, Dennis, the best job I ever had was town councilman. What do you think? The third best job I ever had. Joe Mondello, Joe Mondello, Joe Mondello. I love you, Joe. I love you, Joey! You know, and to have Chairman Cairo pick up the ball and run with it. And it's just, the team here shows what you've learned from the ambassador and what you've taken into your own. And we love you for what you do. Thank you so much for helping us. Joe Cairo. I look around, I see the police commissioner used to wrestle up here over at Lynbrook. And I see Tommy Feynman, who wrestled with me at Division Avenue and played football with me also there. And he swore me in a couple of times over at, when I was a county legislator, as did Peter King, Congressman Peter King. You swore me in a few times too. God bless, thank you so much. I see my very good friend, Bobby Kumar's here. And sitting with him is Joe Saladino, Joey. Nobody has more passion in government than Joe Saladino. Joe, we love you, man. And then my friends from Levittown, I got the American Legion. Frank Marcinek, the past commander. Frankie, it's such a pleasure having you here. Matty DiGregorio, past commander of the VFW in Levittown. Peter Stasinski, Peter, we call him lovingly Simon. That's the biblical name. Peter was Simon, Simon Peter. You have to go to church to know this anyway. And then the Chamber of Commerce president, so many different times, so many different organizations, so active. Don Pertain. Don, thank you so much. He did the pledge for me when I first got sworn in June 6th, D-Day in 2017. So you've heard about everything we've done here in the town. It's such a pleasure, such an honor to be in the best team. We've not raised taxes in 4.5 years that I've been here. That's something. You know, anybody else, the schools are raising taxes like crazy. Everybody's raising taxes. We didn't. We care about the people. And I promise you that I will continue to work as hard as I can for the men and women of the town of Hempstead. My family is here. My family is, most of you know my son Dennis. He's a hard worker, an honest guy. I'm so proud of him. When he does his job, he says, you got to do this, this, and this, bring it back, and it's that simple. And they bring it back and they only have this and this done. What about the third thing? Oh, come on, you're busting my chops. No, your chops. I'm not going to lose my license because you want to cheap out and not do it. Get it done. And you make sure they get it done because it's your house is safe then. Your neighbors are safe because the buildings are being done correctly. I'm so proud of my son, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, for being here today. My daughter, Jolene, she has 3 beautiful, beautiful kids. My son-in-law, too, Ed. Deadbeat guy. No, he's not. He always calls me his deadbeat father-in-law. So I had to get that in, I'm sorry. But, you know, Samantha, she's on honor roll all the time. She plays lacrosse now. I'm so happy. She's a great soccer player, really good basketball player. My grandson, Little Ed. Little Ed's 6'1" now and 185 pounds. He's in 7th grade. Wears a size 14 shoe. Little kid, Little Ed. But he was a great wrestler too, but he likes basketball better, so we let him play basketball. And his little brother, Jackson, the baby of the family, Jackson is the most coordinated kid, can play anything. And no matter how hard it is, he's always got a smile on his face doing it. It's incredible. And they're all on the honor roll. I'm so proud of my family. I love you all. I love everybody here. You've all really done such a great job keeping this town the wonderful town that it is. Not only, as my colleague has said, the biggest township in the country, but we like to say it's the greatest town in the country. Thank you and God bless you.
Congratulations to Councilman Dennis Dunne Sr. And I welcome now Reverend Michael Duffy, the rector of St. Agnes Church in Rockville Center, to wrap it up with a benediction. Please rise.
20 years ago, as a senior at MacArthur High School, I gave a call to legislator Dennis Dunne, and he showed up at my senior government class. I don't remember what you said, Dennis, but I have never forgotten that he showed up. I've always remembered that, and I want to thank him and all the people on this dais for showing up today, for the way that they show up for our town, for the way they show up for each and every one of us. I'm now going to give the fastest benediction you've ever heard. May Almighty God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father Duffy. Happy New Year. And before we conclude, I'd like to bring on Christopher Macchio, who will sing and who lead the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I have a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunne.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Goosby. Councilman Muscarella. We are adjourned.
Thank you.